Hello and welcome to Yes, You Are Brave. This is a podcast where we are going to set off on a journey together to find and build our brave, where we explore all the ways that you have been brave and all the ways that you can be brave again. Because even though we may have forgotten or we may have fallen out of practice, we're all brave. And I'm on a mission to prove it and help you believe that yes, you are brave. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Yes, You Are Brave. I'm Pawnee, I'm your host, and we're going to jump right in and start talking brave. So I want to talk today about something that is a little bit, this episode, if I'm being honest, is a little bit for me. This is a bonus episode, hopefully, and this is kind of an accountability thing for me, but also talking about being brave enough to tear things apart. And what do I mean by that? Now, many of you know I'm writing a book, and writing a book is hard, in case you were wondering. But I'm at the point in the book where it's time to go through it and edit a lot. And I have done a lot of this in the last month, but it's like we're at the point where I got to go through and I got to edit and I got to tear it apart, just rip it to shreds. And the reason for that is that any of you that are writers or in those type of things, you know that my writing coach, she says the first draft is for you and the second draft is for you to craft it so somebody else can read it. And so that is kind of where I'm at the part where like I wrote a draft and it was fantastic and it was lovely, but it's not really written for anybody else. It's kind of written for me. So now it's the point of facing the fear of the edit. So going in and deleting things, going in, deleting, going in, seeing, okay, right here, I'm just rambling. This was just me trying to get into the flow of writing. It's not important. It's not necessary. And also deciding where things need to go. That can be really hard. Like I thought I had this really good idea of where I wanted this book, what I wanted this book to be and where I wanted it to go. And as you write, things change, right? And so it's a matter of, going in and being like, oh, this makes more sense over here, changing the plan. And it's also getting to the point where like I need to allow or stop allowing fear to keep me stuck. Now, I had the plan for this episode it was supposed to be last month, but life kind of went crazy and I didn't get there. So I had the opportunity to do a hot seat with my group. And my coach told me all of these things, and I have cut the book in half. I've cut the outline in half, and we've got a point. But there was a lot of time where I was just stuck. I knew I needed to do all this editing. I knew I needed to do all these changes, but I was just kind of stuck as to where I needed to go. But the thing about it is that my one thing was that I reached out, right? And I gave the outline to my coach and let her put it up in front of all of the group. And then I took her feedback. The thing about it is I want you to realize is when you are going and you are doing these goals that you've set for yourself and you're working toward these big, wonderful, amazing things, is that there's no right or wrong answer. And that was the thing that I have found really hard with editing the book is I feel like there's not a right or wrong answer. It's kind of whatever I decide to do, wherever I decide to take it, that's where it gets to go. And sometimes that can be so hard in life is when we are trying to make something work, we're trying to figure something out, and we think that there has to be a right or wrong answer. And I think that that's something that like we're taught and maybe we don't quite get it, or we take it a little too seriously that like, oh, there's right and wrong answers to questions. But a lot of times there's just answers to questions, and it doesn't necessarily matter how we do it. It's just that we do it. So that's the next thing that I need to do is just stop worrying, stop letting things keep me stuck. And maybe you're at a point in your progress of whatever it is you're doing that it just feels like you're stuck. But just remember, there's no right or wrong answer, and it's okay to change your mind as well. Also, I need to have some accountability. And so to make progress, I need to have some sort of accountability. So that means me reaching out to my writing group. That means me making a plan with dates and specific times and specific work that needs to get done and sticking to said plan. That is not something that I'm super great at. That's something that I'm trying to work on this year, is having a plan, scheduling time and keeping those schedules, and then setting up some sort of reward system for myself. That's what I need for accountability. I know this, I know myself. And so setting those up, and I think the biggest thing for me, and maybe for you as well, when you're trying to accomplish your goals, is that you reach out to somebody. Because a lot of times I reach out and I say, hey, I'm going to do this. And I don't necessarily, I say I'm just doing this for accountability. And so then later I'm like, okay, no, I got to do this. I said I was going to do it. I told them I was going to do it. So I got to do it. And if that's what you need as well for your goals, for whatever it is you're working on, reach out for help and set up some accountability. And that's what I need to do as well. Also, set up a reward system for yourself. What are you going to do when you get this next chunk done? What are you going to do? How are you going to reward yourself? What are you going to do to celebrate? Also, the next thing that I've realized that I need to do is I need to admit what I'm really afraid of when it comes to the shredding, and deal with that, work through those fears. Because I think part of me, I know what's scary about it, right? I know why I'm struggling with this particular step, is that I've written all of the kind of outliney stuff, and now it's time to write in the scary stuff. It's time to write, to really go deep. It's time to really be in there and really go to dive down deep and put the good juicy stuff in there that's really going to make an impact. And it's scary. Guys, it's so scary to write a book and to feel like you're burying part of your soul on a page. It is so scary. But that's, I think, part of it, is that we got to get into the scary, and I got to get into the not being afraid to really put those stories, the ones that I have felt really need to be in there, but I don't want to because they're scary and I feel like they don't paint me maybe always in the best light. But I think that is part of something that we all need, is to be in the scary, and to realize that it can be better. It doesn't just have to be this skimming the surface thing. We can go deeper and we can make it better. The last thing that I want to talk about that I need to do, is to own up to the self-sabotage and my avoidance behaviors. I have a lot of ways to avoid working on the book, to avoid working on things that are hard, that are scary. One of them is actually the podcast. Sometimes I don't want to work on the book. I know where I'm at. I know where I need to go, but it's scary and I don't want to. And so I turn to the podcast and I spend all my time and effort on the podcast. And that's good. I love doing the podcast and it's fantastic and I love it, and I do it for you and I wouldn't change that. But also I have to learn to find a balance and realize that maybe I'm hiding in the podcast instead of just working on the podcast because it needs to be worked on. So those are the kind of the things, and I hope maybe you can see some of the parallels and some of the things that maybe you need to take from this for your own life. Yes, this is specifically about me tearing my book apart and putting it back together in a way that is better. But the one thing I wanted to kind of focus on for you is that it's okay to edit things, right? It's been a couple of years when I had my author friend Lily Rosetta on here. She talked about how you can't edit a blank page. And so that's another thing that I've been talking with my students about, as I've been helping them try to write essays, is they want it to be perfect. Well, does it sound good? If it's your rough draft, it doesn't matter what it sounds like. Get something on the page so that you can then change it and make it better. So don't be afraid to edit. Don't be afraid to make changes. Don't be afraid to take out entire chapters. Don't be afraid to take out a page or two or change it or decide to go in a completely different direction. There is no right or wrong answer for your life and what you're doing. You just have to do it with intention and you'll be okay. So thank you for indulging me in kind of my little, I have to have some accountability and be brave enough to actually get this book moving and get this book done, because now it is getting into the stuff that's really scary and getting past the fluffy and the easy. So, and as you are looking to move forward in your goals and you are needing to make changes, don't be afraid to edit. Don't be afraid to decide that, you know what, this is not working and things need to go in a different direction, whether it is a book or whether it is your next goal, whether it is a relationship, whether it is your career, whatever it is, it's okay to edit. It's okay to make changes. And you can do that. You are brave enough. Like, I'm going to tell myself I'm brave enough to tear the book apart and to make it better. So I love you. I believe in you. You are brave enough to edit. You are brave enough to make changes, and you are worth the effort that it's going to take to make those changes and to tear things apart. You've got this. You're amazing. You're wonderful. You're awesome. Have a fantastic day.
Thanks for listening, and if you enjoyed what you've heard today, please leave a review down below and share this with anyone that you feel like could use a little more brave in their life. And if you'd like to follow more of my journey to be brave, you can follow me on social media and link down below. Have a fantastic day, and don't forget to be brave.